Today's project is number 33, the coolant tank replacement. That is in the 101 projects for your Boxster. So it has very vague pictures. This is actually a really good picture of the things you're going to have to take off. But figured it's always easier to see it in action in a video. So there's not a whole lot of description here. I'm pulling back this and this. It's all down here. Yep, this is all full of water down here. So we definitely have, I would say we have a tank break, and this is the one job that I really did not want to do. Alright, well, to get this off, you pop out 3 of these little rivets around here. These 2 are, you turn them 90 degrees and they pop right out, and disconnect the light back here. In the corners, there are, on each corner there's one of these things that unscrew. Get another one of these, pop out. And another here, another on this side, and that's the other one I unscrewed from right there. Oh, correction. There are 2 of these things to unscrew on each side. And then these sections come out. You probably don't have these wires. There was a 8-disc changer in here before I removed it recently. Now, take this shelf out, and it's got some coolant on it. All right, gotta dry off. It's already spilled everywhere. Hey, I always thought there was supposed to be a drain plug in here somewhere to drain all of this standing water, but apparently not. Alright, I can actually hear this leaking or air pressure being released or something. Goes. Alright, I just try to get this as absolutely dry as possible everywhere. And then we'll wait and see what gets wet. I let it sit here for a day, maybe two, and you can see that it's still leaking into here, and I guess that is leaking down because it's still very slowly trickling out, and you can't really see the level, but it's right about here. That's where the level is, and the other day it was up here somewhere. Alright, I got this up on a lift because they say getting to some of these from the bottom makes it easier. So before I disconnect this, I want to go ahead and put the car in service position so I can reach in from behind to get to some of the clamps and stuff that I'm going to need to get to. Okay, if you've never put it in service position, you just open the top a little bit. We're going to open it until that opens just a hair. Oh, here's my new Lloyd's mats that I just put in this morning. Much nicer. Okay, so that will leave this part retracted so that we can get in here and unhook some stuff. We're gonna unhook this cable from down here. It just pops out like so, a little ball joint, and then same thing on this side. Ow. Okay, got that one disconnected, and this little plastic trim, you just it's clipped up under here. You just push that down and unclip it. Now we can just grab this and lift it up. And the window will fold up into this position to give us access to the trunk cover, or the engine cover, sorry. For some stuff, this is enough access to get in there, but we're really going to want to work in here, and this thing is in the way. So we're going to go ahead and use a flathead screwdriver, pop this, lift this up, slide this clip off, and then this bar will pop forward. Do that on both sides, and we can push this all the way up against here as well.
Okay, rotate this clip around so I can get a screwdriver into here, and when you press it, it raises this tab up. You can kind of push on the ends of it. This tab just pushes straight out. Alright, so you can see it's halfway off. It's up to you. Push it, sort of catch it. It comes off.
Okay, take this off, and now this comes out, and we'll just leave it in for now until we get the other side out. Okay, so what I found out that worked well on this side is to take one small screwdriver, stick it in the slot, and lift that little tab up some, and then with a bigger screwdriver push on the end. I can get that to come right off. Right now I should be able to pull this one out. There we go. And it just slides loosely on this track. Just slide it out. Yeah, where it needs to be, slide it in. Okay, so right over here, you can see there's a hole in here that lines up when it's straight. So I can stick a pin in there to keep this thing up from falling down. So I'd say just have a couple little Allen wrenches in your pocket when you do this. That's what I'll do next time to make it easier. Just pull one out and stick it in there. And as you can see, it keeps it up nice out of the way. So we can go ahead and start removing this stuff. I have the flimsy one. You might have the hard one on top. But on mine, on the inside of it, there are a couple screws or plasticky bits I have to take out. So if you lower the seat, come back inside, mine has a zipper case, and then in here there's a little tab with a piece that you can pull up and then rotate 90 degrees so it'll come out, and then I have to go to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, after they're disconnected, the side pops up. This side pops up, and you just pull this out. Now after that's out of the way, it's got two more of these. This is similar to what was inside the other thing. It's got a little tab you press up and you turn 90 degrees and you can lift it. So one more on this side and lift it, and this whole thing lifts right out. Show you what this looks like. On the bottom it's plastic or foamy. Now on the inside are more of these things, so it's really easy to do by hand. No tools required. There's another one. Sometimes it's helpful to have a tool if this piece gets really flat and it's hard to get with your hand. You can take a flathead screwdriver and lift it up to make it easy to grab. But another one over here, one over here, and one more in the middle. After all of those are loosened, this just raises out and you have an engine. Okay, so what we're going to work on is over on this side of the car, and it's going to be way down under here. Okay, before I do anything, this is what our engine compartment looks like. So if I take something off, I need to know where it goes back. I'll have this to look back on. So I think the first thing I'm going to do to get a little more access is to take off this hose that runs here, and on both ends of it is like a little quick disconnect thing. You can see the grooves there where you just pinch that in and pull that off. In theory. So let me see if I can put my camera down and record this. So I'm going to squeeze on the top and the bottom of this thing. And that pulls right off. Okay. The other end. The other end has the same thing. Push in, squeeze, and pull it off. So that's what it looks like. You can see these little grooves here, what I was pressing in on. Okay, I'm going to take a little lunch break. It's hot out here. While I'm gone, you guys go ahead and subscribe for me if you could, please, or hit the like button. Either one, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Did you get a chance to subscribe yet? Oh, I'll wait. Come on. Subscribe. 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 Ah, thanks. On with the show. Okay, back to over here. This big one that is for the oil. that is connected to this goes all the way through into the top, and that is this one here. And there's a hose clamp that's really easy to get to here, so we are going to separate it from here, and when we remove the tank we're going to pull this whole tube out with it because it's a lot easier to reach this connection than the one way underneath. Alright, this right here is the tool that's going to save our bacon. You clamp this down and it pulls these tight for our little hose clamp removal tool. It's not I'm going to use it for this one so you can see how it actually works, but it's going to come in to save us when we have to reach all the way under here to get the other ones. Okay. Under here. Line these up on our clamps and squeeze. Alright, pulls that clamp in for us. Slide it down over the hose. Alright, this thing has a little locking release here. Okay, so when I want to release it, I can push this in, let go. As you can see, I was able to move the clamp down onto the hose off of the connection here. So hopefully I can wiggle this off now. Okay, maybe I have to get the clamp a little lower. Okay, got the clamp a lot lower. I think it felt it move just a little bit. Okay. Whew. Alright, so you just pull really hard. That's the only secret. Okay, for the next thing we're going to do, if you reach under this one that we just disconnected and reach back, you will feel with your hand this hose right here this little guy snakes its way over, and there's actually a connection right down here, so we can disconnect this one right here instead of all the way up against the tank where it's super hard to get to. So we'll disconnect that right now. Okay, there's a little button you can press right here, and supposedly it's like a quick connect. Yep. All right, disconnects there. It's as easy as that. All right, so we have 2 out of the 5 done. Whoops. And when you drop that thing, it will dump coolant down there. It's okay. Okay, I just took that nipple from the hose and stuck it between these 2 wires to hold it up, just to make it stop leaking for now. Okay, now there are only 2 more things that we need to disconnect here. Let me set this up. See if I can show you. I've found them with my hand. You kind of, it does help just to feel around down here from where the hoses are. So there is one connection right here. You can actually see it. I'm touching the metal thing that we're going to have to disconnect. And then there's one more. Let's see. Sorry, I'll do my best to show you these things. This one has nothing to do with what we're doing. It's just kind of in the way here. The first one we did is here. And then right under it, the second one is the second one that we took off. So this is one of the connectors right here we have to remove. And then underneath and further in, there's one more that you're going to have to get to. Stick my phone down in here. Aha, okay. So there's the one that we have to get off, and then the second one is, oh, there you can see it. I don't know how I can point at it, but on the bottom center of the screen right now is that other little clip that we're going to have to get to. So we have to reach in with that special tool to get these 2 things off. Like I said, this big one on the top is we already did. Second one we already did. Third one down we have to do. The one right under that is just an overflow that is not connected to anything. It just goes straight through to drip out excess to the ground. And this one. So we got to get that tool on these 2, disconnect them, and then we'll be ready to pull the tank out from the other side.
If you can, I might need to use your ratchet that you had.
There you go.
Thanks.
So Aaron from Renpart just happened to stop by with my new tank. And, putting him to work here. So we're trying to, the new tank we got is not like the ones that I've seen other people put in, because it does not have that black plastic piece that attaches in the trunk to it. So we're going to see if this comes apart in 2 parts. So we're just taking the old one out right now.
This one is the German brand, which in my experience, it's the same as the Porsche, but it's about $100 cheaper.
Hey, and I like $100 cheaper.
But I would not go with the cheaper brand made by, I don't know if it's Miley or Euro, because we've had a lot of those fail off the shelf, and you don't want to do this job twice.
Yeah.
It's just personal experience.
It's not been fun so far. So yeah, we just undid the bolt at the base, 2 bolts back here, 1 bolt up at the top right there.
1 there, 1 here, and this one.
And we pop this cover off, took the caps off, of course.
Let's just see if we can.
Pull our dipstick out. I got a towel so we can just throw it on there. That's good.
And be very careful with these dipstick tubes. They're plastic and they're known to break. They have two little teeth here that are held in. And if you have a pair of pliers, we can pop that free.
Okay.
Gentle with this. There you go. And let's see if we can get any leeway here.
Yeah, so since I disconnected the big one, it should give us a little bit of room to come out. Nope,
So
still
look
tight.
at this. I feel like this should come out. I just don't remember it. I don't know if it's... There you go. There's...
Little ring.
Sorry. That screws off. Do you know if you have this hose off?
That is... Do not know. Which one would that be? I'm going to disconnect these tubes from the inside. And then if we push that down from the top.
There's a lot of travel it needs to
Yeah.
cover, unfortunately. I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. I don't think that's going to come free without popping the hose off of this. Which other hoses are there on here? Okay, what's that one? This is always a fun part of the job.
Sorry, you showed up at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's okay. And of course, this clamp is
Yeah,
blind and it's on the side, so this is the fun part. It will involve lots of colorful language.
You can get to it from the bottom. I can raise this up.
Let's see if we can get it here.
I just didn't see from the bottom a good way to reach up into here without taking that big metal plate off down there.
Oh yeah, that's that is in the way. This is the hardest part of the whole job.
Yes, by far. It's been pretty easy up until this point.
Where are those fancy pliers? Let's see if
Right
we
there.
can use these. Alright. Whoops.
Oh, magnetic flashlight. to line it up the right way. If you can get it to it, it's easy, but
that's the problem.
yeah.
This is funny.
Completely worst spot that this clamp could be at.
How did I do this before?
So I'm making a video so I can remember next time.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get lucky and rotate these clamps by pushing with your thumb on one side. It hurts. This one is super tight. You can take the clamp off here, which would be a lot easier.
Further up?
Because it goes onto a metal
Well, then,
station.
heck yeah, let's do that.
Let's see if we can get this in here. This is how you lose a finger. So these hold, or these?
Yep, it's a hold in there.
Is it holding?
Yep. Well, it'll click in another spot. Do a little tighter. Oop, there, it's clicked in.
I see. More. How do you reset
Open them back,
these?
come up.
Ah, okay. There we go. Got it. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this light. I can use it. There we go.
Well, you bastard.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. Is this open all the way? There we go. That's better.
Tell me when I can squeeze it for you.
Try to squeeze it now and see what happens. Just. Whoops. Yep. Let's see. Okay, go ahead and squeeze it. Well, hold on. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Go ahead. Is it getting tight? Is there tension on it?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and set all the way. I feel like it should go a little more. Okay. A little more. It's coming. It's just got to go. There you go. Okay, good. Now it's free.
Hey.
Okay, you can let go. Now we just got to get this hose off, which will probably not want to come off. So if you want to release that, I can take this tool off. That's actually really nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably still pretty tight.
Come on.
Oh, here you go. Okay. Got it. Let's see.
Hey, there we go. There's the rest of the fluid in our tank.
Okay, so now you can see these clamps are available here. Much easier to access. Let's see. Probably be best just to pull this whole assembly out so we can get a good look at it.
So you don't think you can disconnect this part?
I think
You
you
can take it all out?
You can.
Sorry, I'm having trouble.
Siri.
Let's take a look and see what we have here on the back side of this. So here you can see the clamps that we've been battling. There's two here, one here, and there was one down below. I think we're just gonna have to take this completely out to get a good look at it.
So you just got two of those, or one of those two hard clamps off back there?
Yes, that allowed us to pull it
forward
forward a
some.
good bit. Although we have this one free, so what's holding us up?
Yeah, there should just be one holding it in then.
There's still two below. You have that one free. It is just the lower hose yet again. And let's see if it makes more sense to disconnect it here. Probably. Although these hoses are so clamps are so close together. Let's see. And of course you have a wiring harness in the way now too.
It's too late to offer you some gloves.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's do it from inside the vehicle again.
Yeah, I think so.
So coolant on the floor over here.
Yeah. Slippery.
Yeah, so this one is going to be we go.
It's gonna blow.
Yeah. It's about to call 911, which might not be a bad idea. Let's see. So this one, I think we can get with these fancy pliers again, so I'll give those to you.
Alright. Be the trigger man.
And go ahead and start putting some pressure on them a little more. A little more. Oops. A little bit too much. So there you go. Go ahead and pull on it a little bit. Oh, just missed it. So we got too much in the way here, of course.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and squeeze it.
Looks like it's biting.
Okay, you want to pull it some more. A little more. Is that all it's got?
Alright, let me put the phone down.
Okay.
Just 2 hands. That's about it.
Go a little more. Okay, let go. Got it. Sorry.
That's a tight one.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Alright.
Okay, so we've got that one now. Now let's free it. Without trying to break anything. Of course, these are
That's what it is.
tight as can be. And you don't have a pair of hose puller plier or hose puller hook, do you? Looks like a weird fishing hook.
Weird fishing hook. I don't think so.
Okay, we might have to do this the incorrect way.
I'll show you what I have. You tell me if I have it.
It's smaller and a bit harder to get a grip on. Let's see if that freed it up enough to pop it off. And of course there's coolant now, so it's slippery.
Okay.
So, let's see.
Okay, we got the hoses free.
This,
Guide that big one out.
yeah, it's plastic, so you have to be careful. This back up in here.
It's getting repainted anyway.
This one is,
So at this point we can disconnect the big one from this side. if we
Yeah,
want to.
pretty
Might be
easily.
easier.
might not be a bad idea.
So we don't have to drag it all the way through and possibly break it.
Yeah, let's see, where are
The fancy ones.
Yeah, we're the regular pliers. Not used to using this one, but I like it a lot. I almost lost my finger using pliers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Smells like someone's grilling something.
All right, I'm buying you one of those and sending it to you.
Oh God. Okay. Now let's see. Here's the culprit.
All right.
One on the floor. So
Now to see if it does really.
now you
apart.
JB weld where it was leaking.
Yeah.
Let's see this thing. Let's see how
Stop that out.
you pull this off so you can replace it. So probably the best thing to do is going to be take these off,
Yep.
since we're going to have to transfer.
The thicker one goes at the bottom. Around the outside.
Yeah, you can see why these are so hard to take off blind. So,
And
probably missing something
so that
simple
is a separate
here.
piece there.
Okay.
Ah,
So
okay.
now let's put the two new. I'm gonna get this dirty,
That's right.
unfortunately.
It'll get a lot dirtier.
Okay, so now just do the reverse.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start moving stuff over from the old tank. This just twist and turn. This is your coolant level sensor. So as you can see, there's a cam lock in there, and you put it in and twists. Let's make sure there's no gasket in there. There's not. I'm thinking that.
Seems like that would leak, but
Oops. Don't drop it.
at least they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Let's see if I can put it in this way. It only goes in one way.
All right.
There you go. So next we'll move these hoses. There we go.
Nice and tight.
Oh yeah. And there's that. So we're officially done with this one. Set that to the side.
Toss it.
And now we just have to remember where all these other ones went.
Big hose guy there first, or should we drill this?
Yeah, this needs to be drilled on this tank. This is also fits the later cars with no dipsticks. So it looks like it's about a inch hole. We can measure it if
I got,
you like.
I got some holes on. All right, Aaron had to take off. We did a few things to this off camera. One of them was taking a 1-inch hole saw and cutting the hole for where our dipstick is going to go, and the 1-inch hole saw was not quite big enough. You can see it has a ring here for the fitting of the right size, so I took my Dremel and opened that up a little bit to match that opening on the outside. So hopefully that is the right diameter, whatever that is. A little bit bigger than 1 inch, but not 1 1/4 inches, because 1 1/4 inch hole bit was too big. Anyway, here's the fittings that we transferred over from our other one. This one on the bottom is the overflow, and that one we pulled off from behind, so I'm going to go get that out of the trunk and attach it and reattach this one. And of course we also transferred these 3 hoses over here as well. Alright, this is our drain tube that we got pulled out that was just routed down to the bottom of the car. Not sure if these used to, looks like these things are broken and they used to clip this onto something to hold it in place, but now it will just dangle, and we'll stick this one right here. Okay, I'm going to feed our tubes back into here. Put this one back on. Okay, I finally figured out what this little notch is for. See if I can show it to you. On the back of this big hose thing, there is, right here, a notch on the neck, and then there's a notch on the hose that comes to it, so that you can line those up. Since this is the hose that goes through is actually curved, you want it to be facing the correct way to go through there. So that's what the notch is there for. You line the notch up. And we can use this. Again. Tighter. Hose clamp back in the right spot. And release it. Okay. Go. Pull it through the other side. Put this thing back in here. Before I hook everything up, I want to make sure that this is going to fit. And it does. Fits nicely into our new hole. So that's good. All right. Okay. And this just goes on the top of here, I think. want to tighten these down. Oh no. Okay, this thing fell out. So, I have to take this tank back out, put that piece back in. So, I'm glad I noticed it now. Okay, we're trying to push that in. It won't go until the, see if I can show you. Okay, flip this around. Okay, so kind of in the center of your screen you can see the hose coming in is hitting the pipe, so I need to put that this right here. I need to put that over the fitting, and now that we have the hose clamp on top so I can actually reach it, so I'll make that connection first. Okay, I finally got the hoses lined up on the other side. Got this pushed in enough where I can start these. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up so it pushes this flush against there, so our tubes are stuck more inside so I can connect them on the inside. Okay, after attaching those 4 bolts again and make sure I have that snapped in there, I'm going to go ahead back over here and get those 2 ones that are really hard first. Okay, so the good news is getting them off I think was a lot harder than getting them back on. They're not on yet. I only have them pressure fitted, but I wanted to see if there's any way I could show you what they look like. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good shot for you here. Alright, so yeah, there's one pushed back on. right here, and the other. Yeah, by now you know what the two are, and you just have to get that clamp on them somehow. Whew. All right, I've been fighting with this thing a good 20 minutes for the one clamp, and I still can't get it, so I'm gonna call it quits for the night, rest, and pick up on this tomorrow. Okay, next morning, back at it. Apparently a little break is what I needed, because the first attempt at getting the hose clamp on the first one was successful, the easier one. Let's see. The one that was a little further back was the really hard one. I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you, but let me show you the setup that I had to do. So this big oil hose I pushed up above this cable to make a little more room here. I have my tool here going down at this angle, and so it is the clamp is, the head of this thing is like this, down right on top of the clamp, holding the clamp. So the prongs are on the top of the tube that it's connected to. So once I got it locked in as tight as I could on that, I was able to wiggle it this way. And actually when Aaron took the clamp off of this one, he, instead of having the clamp go this way and leaving it on the hose, he took it off this way and let it run down the pipe, which it turns out that's probably the way to do it, because you don't have any more access down in that direction. So yeah, when you take this clamp off, I would suggest taking it that way and doing what he did. So it's a lot easier to get the tool on it when it's coming from this direction, and then continuing pulling the clamp that way onto the hose. Okay, here's a angle of it so you can see the tool is still holding that clamp down, and like I was saying, following down this tube, we just dropped the clamp there when we took this off, pulled the clamp back up, and we're able to pull it over that hose. Here you can see this to the left, this other solid black pipe comes up, and that's where the other clamp is on right there. That clamp we left on the hose when we took it off. I guess we could have done the same thing with that one, but that one wasn't, this one wasn't too bad to get to as long as I left the clamp prongs in the right position. Let me see if I can show you where they are. So they're just kind of over to the side, and actually this hose right here that I'm poking, that's kind of between the two pipes, is our quick disconnect one. So this was actually pushed down further when I did the first pipe, and then I pulled it up between the two of them so I had better access to get to this other one over here. So anyway, I hope this is somewhat helpful to get an idea of what you're in for, at least. Okay, I got this reconnected now, got our hose clamp back on here. Now the last step is to reconnect our tube. I just got to put our quick disconnect, don't forget to put this part back in. Okay, got that connected, and that's it, we're all back together. So normally the next step would be to get our vacuum assembly back out and fill the system with coolant again, because some escaped from disconnecting all these hoses. But I have a new thermostat and soon to be delivered a new water pump that I'm going to do at the same time, so I'll wait and get my coolant squared away once all of that is done. So please subscribe, like this video. Whew, that was a lot of work. hopefully you don't have to do it, but chances are you do, because that's why you're watching this video. Let's see. What advice can I give you? It really sucked. This is the worst one I've done so far. I would probably let somebody do all of the work for me and pay for a couple hours of labor if that was an option. But it can be done, obviously. I did it, even though Aaron showed up and helped some, but I probably could have got the clamps off myself, but it was sure nice to have him do that. So anyway, good luck to you guys, and we'll see you on the next project. All right, back with one last little tip. You may have seen that little washer that was laying here in my last shot. It actually turns out it goes face down here, and I noticed when I was tightening this, it just kept turning, and without that, but with that washer underneath, it actually locks into place like it should. Okay, now that's all, I think.